Hello and welcome back to Apache Camel tutorial. Today we'll be talking processor. The processor interface is used to implement consumers of message exchanges or to implement a message translator and various other use cases. A core Camel concept that represents a node capable of creating or modifying an incoming exchange. During routing, exchanges flow from one processor to another processor. You can think of a route as a graph having specialized processor as the nodes. And lines that connect the output of one processor to the input of another. Processors could be implementation of EIPs, producer for specific components, or your own custom creation. If we just try to focus on this visual real quick. So what we are simply saying is you have a consumer, which is consuming a message. Before sending it to another route or endpoint, you like to process that message. You like to apply some sort of business logic to it. So what you can simply do is you can stick in these processors. You can have as many processors you want in between two endpoints. And the good thing is, the changes made by one processor will be visible on exchange when another processor is picking up that exchange, because they are all working on a same exchange. And once all this processing is done, depending on the exchange pattern type, whether it's in only or in out, Camel will decide what to do. So if it's a in only, it won't reply. If it's in out, then it will say it will basically set the output on the exchange dot out, and it will go back to your consumer, or to the endpoint. All right, so what we're going to do in workshop, let's say I have incoming streaming data processing service. So given an incoming streaming data, when it contains sensitive information such as password, then application must mask the value before storing and replace it with some asterisks. So in our workshop, what we are going to see is, let's say I have an application, which is getting some streaming data, and before storing into database or another file, what our business wants now is they want it remove or mask this sensitive information. So when data is in rest, we do not want to hold that personal information. That could be credit card information, your address, your passwords, or whatever. So let's just go back to our code and then see how easily we can implement this particular business requirement. So there are two ways of implementing processor. One is lambda style inline, and one is dedicated Java class. So I'll try to demonstrate both. What I'm not going to demonstrate is you can achieve same thing with XML DSL as well, but we'll just focus on Java. But you can very easily translate or transform same Java code into XML. Let's head back to our IntelliJ. So what we have is we have a very simple route which is reading from a file called camel demo in.txt, and it's simply sending it to camel demo out.txt. Let's see first what the problem is. So if I take you back to our terminal, and I hope the text size is good enough. As you can see, I am standing on temp camel, don't have any file at the moment. Let's try to send something called name something to this in file. And at this point, you can see in the background, our processor has, sorry, let me just restart my application. So I have restarted my application. Let's remove everything which I have. So let's start fresh. Now, what we're simply saying is keep looking at the background IntelliJ as well. So I have sent a message called name something. Pretty cool. I've got name something, and what I'm going to do is now I have a file called camel. I'm going to tail that file. So continuously we can monitor what's happening inside the file. Let's put tail -f so we can continuously stream this file. So we are reading this file. If I send name something 2, for example, all good at this point. Now let's say if I send something called password. If I send password and let's say it's called secret. The problem I have right now is that I am storing or sending that sensitive information downstream. My business wants to avoid that situation. Okay, so how we can fix this problem? Let's quickly try to introduce a processor. So in our root, first let's look at the lambda way, okay, inline way. So you simply say process and you take first input parameter called exchange. What we are simply going to do is we are saying exchange dot get message dot body, okay, and I am going to consume as a string. Okay, and let's try to introduce a local variable called line. Yeah, now what we want to do is we want to check if line contains, I don't know, password. It's very crude way of doing it. You can put regex, you can put, you know, some smart logic around it, but I'm just trying to show you the power of processor. So I'm saying line dot to lowercase dot starts with something called password colon. Okay, if it starts with password, what we want to do is we want to line dot substring, you know, 0 comma lines, you know, the last index of, okay, index of colon, for example. Okay, so because the reason I'm going this way is we can, you know, we can replace line number 47. We can say if it starts with password pwd or blah blah blah, you know, and then this logic will not require any changing. So I have substringed it, and now I'm simply saying you suffix or replace that text with asterisk. Okay, and what we want to do at this point now is we want to set the message back to our exchange, you know, get message dot set body, and you're saying line. That's it. We managed to update our exchange now. If I restart my application real quick, so what we are expecting at this point, if I take you back to terminal, earlier we were printing our secret information. Okay, this, after making this change, secret now should be replaced with, you know, 5 asterisks. Okay, now if I send password secret, voila, there you go. Can you see that? We have now managed to mask the information which is coming. Now if users keeps on sending name something to, no impact. Message comes in, goes out. But now what we have done, we have introduced this filter, okay, where we have a capability of processing incoming message and introduce some business logic. So as I said, this is one way of doing it. What's the second way of doing it, and why do you want to do it? Let's say, you know, there are other roots which like to utilize the same logic. You will end up copying pasting this thing. Okay, we want to avoid that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce a new class, and we're gonna put this logic over there. Okay, so what you want to do is first over here, let's create a new class called mask sensitive info. I hope my spelling is correct. Okay, it is not, because I'm rubbish. Rename to, thank you. So we have created this class. You have to implement an interface called processor. Okay, there you are, org.apache.camel processor. It's gonna complain. Obviously we have to implement a method called process. So let's say implement method called process. In this process, when camel calls this particular class, it will be able to call this method called process, and it will be sending this exchange over here. Yeah, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this logic which I have it here. I'm not gonna remove anything just yet. I'm simply kind of lifting and shifting the code over here. Okay, I've done it, and we don't need to do anything else. Now what we can do is we can get rid of everything from here in processor, and we will be able to put our class called new mask sensitive info. There we are. What I have done now is I have managed to use a class which is implementing a processor interface. Okay, so this is the second way of doing it. If I start my application, just to make sure it's working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say or wish Java was that smart. I love Java, but it's a bit. If line starts with password or pwd, in both cases we like to take this action. Let's start our application. So first, let's try to send a normal message called, I don't know, something 3, for example. Okay, business as usual, as you can see over here. However, if I send my secret information, again, business as usual. Third thing which we have done, we have now introduced saying, look, if it starts with password or start with pwd, sometimes people like to call it pwd. In both cases, it should just work, and it did. So now we managed to demonstrate that how you can mask information using a processor. Okay, we saw both Lambda and Java way of doing it. You can, as I said earlier, you can use XML too. All right, that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you have not. It really helps me to see like now how many people are watching. Plus, I try to create content maybe once a week or every fortnight. So trust me, I'm not gonna spam you every day. I don't have that much time. So if you subscribe, it will, you'll get the new videos when I publish them. And please leave some sort of comments at the bottom. What do you think of this video? Speed, the length of the video, etc., etc. I love to hear your feedback. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.